want to, because Munish could do Swedish, but we will do this in English. Yeah.
I could do Swedish, but I think it would be just really muddled. So,
we want you loud and clear.
Yeah,
So.
at least when I speak in English, it's muddled, and you know it's supposed to be muddled. This is it.
Yeah, can I start by saying when I heard that the group had selected you for our next scholarship, I was delighted. And I must admit, I'd only seen your work on the internet. I've never seen it live, which I did afterwards. I went to Lillevall, so we'll get back to that. And I don't know if you know, but this grant, we have, historically, we've had like 4 different kind of areas that we give it to. One is painting, one is graphic prints, one is glass, and one is textile. And I think you're the first person, I don't know about the glass though, but you're the first person who's almost hit the full jackpot. So we had no, normally we like, who, because we give it in somebody's honor, and so we can give it in the honor of everyone who's part of this. And I'm also so happy for the museum to let us have the exhibition here in the main hall. And as I said, the first thing I saw of you was at Lillevall, and you really can take a room.
Okay.
That's quite something, because this is also a bit of a difficult room
Yeah.
to handle. And I am so excited to see what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I can of course go and learn glass if it helps. You know, that's
go
something.
to Venice with your mum.
Yeah, I could do that and that technique. But no, absolutely. Like I'm really like happy to have got the award and the exhibition actually. I mean that to have the chance to do the show and in a space like this, like which is. It concretizes, you know, like it just makes it, like you feel as if like that, the stipend together with the show actually, because the show is the thing, I think, for me.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And the opportunity to show is the thing, you know, like is the sort of reward, like in a way, like, okay, I get to speak again, you know, and and the challenges in the space somehow is how the work actually happens, you know, as well. So yeah, no, it's totally exciting to be here and to do the show there.
So you're gonna do new work for the?
Yeah, because I feel as if like, I mean, I take so what I have is these paintings, and they travel with me.
Yeah.
And I just try to, with these paintings, I try to leave them behind in an environment the paintings feel comfortable in. So I work in that way. So it's a kind of a way in which, like, so the paintings have reappeared in all the different shows.
Yeah.
But the context is or how the show happens is dependent on the sort of spatial dynamics, or like how the audience is going to move through, so it's the relationship, in creating the relationship between the audience and the work, the paintings. And how they receive the paintings is dependent. Then I have all these objects which play with the room. If you see what I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video as well from Tansiks Museum in Shopping, where you've been exploring the history of the place and the matching box industry. And are you thinking that you're going to base something here from Eskilstuna? You're going to look at this surrounding here, the industry around here, or are you?
It would be interesting to do that, because it's like, I think that show actually is when I learned a lot more about Swedish history.
Yeah.
You know, and the sort of historical context in terms of, like, I don't know, not just like the sort of recent history or like how Sweden is imagined, or how I'm supposed to imagine Sweden, or how people talk about Sweden, but really in a sort of like, with like the sort of industrial history.
Yeah.
And when you meet the industrial history, then there are entanglements with like, of course, what industrialism can be, you know, like entanglement with colonialism, capitalism, and then you have sort of like the global entanglements of the flow of people, of the flow of goods, and then, you know, like I find my narrative within that.
Yeah.
So that's always quite interesting when you come into a space which is supposed to be outside of you or your experience, but actually, like when I came to Jönköping, it's like, hey, wait a minute, you know, like within this history of the Match Museum, you know, that there is a crossover between my history. It's not accidental that I'm here, you know, and the reason, I mean, going on to that, like I think it's interesting to go to a space and then figure out that, oh, like, you know, my ancestry isn't as foreign to this space as it's supposed to be. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think those kind of things are good because it just shows how our histories cross over or orientations we take. If you see what I mean. So I think, to answer your question, yeah, it'd be wonderful to get the opportunity to come here, or you know, to read a little bit more about the context. You know, this is an industrial area, of course, isn't it? So there's a life before, and that makes it interesting about the life before and how you play with that in terms of like the memories that are within the building and the memories you're coming with or trying to evoke through the work.
And our history is always changing, so every day when I saw that from Konstmuseum, you had all these exotic pictures on the matchboxes that were beautiful, but looking at them with today's eyes, they're quite terrifying as well, and how you can turn that. It's both poetic and scary and beautiful, and how you also sample with the Faderad färg into old prints that have the colonial aspect to it. I think you are like sampling the whole world, thinking about your history. You were born in Kenya, brought up in England, lived here 20 years. You're like a world person that can, not everyone can pick like you can, go to Konstmuseum and be critical with that kind of eyes. And it's important to have that dialogue as well.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I guess it's like, it's also when you come into a space to feel that sense of empowerment that you have the right to speak from the position that you come from. Because there's the dominant structure which is telling you this is how you're supposed to speak this way, talk this way. Because otherwise, when you decide to say something, it's almost as if like what you're saying is like absurd, you know.
But I find that what you're doing is you're lifting the veil. Like we have a language, and then all of a sudden you lift the veil and you realize, like, no, this isn't how it's like. This is what I thought it was. No.
Yeah, that's what happens in the studio, I think.
Okay.
You know, it's almost as if like you can bring stuff together, and it's not as if like, because you do come into a space and you're just as sort of like distant from it, and then I mean, within a studio practice, you sometimes have this stuff just come in, you don't know what to do with it. There's other stuff that you're doing, and then it's how those things meet.
Yeah.
And then you find, you know, the Follow Road was just totally accident. You know, I was painting my house red. It came in the studio, I'm playing around with this pigment, making it, you know, from turmeric or whatever, and I'm like, okay, you know, if I blur my eyes a bit, they're both the same, you know.
Yeah.
And so you can sort of, and then it becomes, so in a way, like, you know, it's also trusting, I guess, trusting a process that I think we're all supposed to do as creative.
It holds a lot of history for us, the Follow Road. That is like a national paint, but it's never used in an old context, really.
That's kind of funny, I found it, that something can become, you know, something which is just matter.
Yeah. Has
this value which is somehow arousing in a sort of nationalism.
Yeah.
And for me,
bigger than our flag, I think.
Yeah, but so that can happen, and you know, so I found that quite interesting. And I think with Follow Road, was the funniest thing was going to buy it. You know, every time I go to buy it, the first time I went in, I was like, yeah, can I paint this in the inside of the wall? They were like, you know, I think I said it in the video, right? It was like,
I would go, no.
no? Yeah, that's what happened. I was like, and then it was like, it's the way I get treated by these people as well. No, I'll buy it anyway, you know, and I'll play around with it anyway. And then it's every single time, it's been the same. I think at Lily Welsh I wasn't allowed to use it.
Not at all. I thought it was fatherhood.
No, we had to just pretend it was.
Because
there's some kind of component in there, and I was like, what is that, flower water? Or is it pigment?
It's flower pigments. Yeah, I had the recipe of it once. It's more like a porridge that you paint with.
Yeah.
But it's because it comes off the pigment. It's loose.
Yeah.
I think that's why.
Not when I use it. But anyway, yeah, it's you can paint over. So anyway,
painting tigers with fondant fairy. This is I don't know if all of you saw that exhibition. You painted exotic tigers and motifs in fondant fairy, and I thought that was a beautiful clash.
At the 26th Museum, that and at konstakademin I did this.
Oh yeah, that one as well.
I re-put it there as well. It's kind of fun to paint. It's fun to do paintings.
Yeah. Do you see yourself as a painter?
I think so.
I do, from not knowing. I've only seen, like, as I said, one of your exhibitions live, and I think there's a painterly quality to all of it. And I do think the beauty of the exhibitions opens you up, and then you're hit by the message as well, or it's hidden as a poetic way of guiding us to a different way of thinking. It's not telling you, like, this is the way you should view this, but it's, you come out a bit messed up thinking, what is this, and how do I perceive this as a person? And it's very clever that way.
People enjoy it, you know, like, of course I feel like it's a luxury to do what I do, you know, and then to be playful is it's a luxury, and in a way it was like, why not, you know, but it, you know, and so yeah, it's kind of, I think it's always great if other people find something in it that they can sort of relate to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's totally. I don't know what was the question, but like
I don't know either.
Okay. But yeah, no.
Something about the art, the painting, the quality.
Yeah, about if it's painting.
If it's painting.
Yeah, I think it's painting. Totally, it's paint. I have this thing like where sometimes I make these because I have these paintings I make, which take me forever. Like these, I make copies of Hindu mythological images that they're from my childhood when I was growing up in the UK. And so it was a point at which like I began to rethink how histories or art histories connect to my personal history. So I thought, and then I began to look into these paintings, the history of them, and then sort of the entanglements of colonialism, nationalism. And they were so charged, yet they sit on the wall in my home, like when I was a child, like so like quietly, and almost as if like here as well, like go into like some kind of cafe or whatever, you're going to find their pictures as well. And they sit quietly as these kitsch objects. And it was interesting in how they're received and read, yet they're charged, that they are in the background. And so yeah, like I have this, so I started to recreate those paintings. They at a larger scale, and they could take me a month or 2 months. And it's very controlled, and it's very like precise, looking at the color in detail, mixing the color in detail, looking at like European landscape painting from the Dutch painting or the Sublime in the UK, like looking at this philosophical sort of traditions at the time in the UK as well. And then what's fun is in the installation, then it's a bang, it's a different kind of charge with pigment or with the painting on the walls.
I think she wants to...
Oh, it's alright. Oh, I apologize.
Sorry.
It's okay. Can you... Sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Loud and clear.
Oh.
Maybe only I heard.
You only heard... Did everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, so what I enjoy in the work is like there's a contrast between a certain type of process within my practice And then when it comes to the installation, really it's the pigment, I think, or the scale of things. And I think there's a certain type of expression in that. I enjoy the sort of the whole bodily side of the painting. I guess it's a kind of a release from that sort of studio staring at or paint. You know what I mean? It's it's the exact opposite of that process, which I think for me.
Sometimes you have to do that in order to have the explosion going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but it's the fun part when you're in the. I mean, it's the fun part, but it's really like a lot of labor. But when it comes to the installation, and you have the you know, like huge bucket of like say konststipendium or art lab, I had this huge bucket of pigment that I've made. I mean, it's totally awful for my to have huge amounts of pigment. I hate it, but you know what I mean, like dealing with it and because I make it out of turmeric, so I get bags of turmeric, and then it's wonderful because you get bags of turmeric, and then you go to a builder's store and get this select calc, right? And then you mix them together. This, you know.
You need some protection there.
You need some exactly, and sometimes you're a bit lazy, or then I come out with because I got grey hair now, so it's yellow, and so I'm like, oh god, I forgot, I wasn't careful, or I'm yellow everywhere, everything's gone yellow. So, but it's kind of that's fun. I'm hoping that maybe I don't have to mix it now, but
we'll have to ask the museum. I'm sure they can help you. I know they're very, very good at helping out here. But it's well, we're looking forward very much to seeing your exhibition, and it's quite in the near future, since in March.
Yeah.
So you're all welcome back in March, and I can't wait.
Thank you. Me too.